Hey everyone, just wanted to hop on here and try something different, which I know majority of us, if not all of us, have been experiencing something different in our lives in the last few weeks. This is week 3 for quarantine, self-quarantine for me and my kids, and if you know anything about me, I go from a very go, busy life to nothing. And it's been a big change. So I have been praying about what can I do for my families that I minister to on a weekly basis and that I work with on a weekly basis. What can I do for them to help them through this time when I can't be there? I can't go into the homes right now. I'm not seeing you on Sunday morning and checking up on you. I'm not able to sit down with your teens and with your kids and enjoy our small group time or our worship time. So I've been praying about what can I do to help you as the parents, as a family, through COVID-19. And this is what I came up with. So we'll see how it goes, but we are putting together a YouTube channel, and I say we, my sister, Natasha, and I think Tom, my husband's going to help me too, and we're just going to put together some resources for you to help you through this time as a family, as a whole family. We're going to have things for parents, children, and teens. So we're going to have our bases covered pretty much. But the segment that I'm about to do right now is going to be for parents. I'm going to try to hop on here every week and just give you some encouragement. Or maybe it's not encouragement. Maybe it's a challenge that might make you feel a little uncomfortable or feel an ouch because, it's something that we as parents need to do better at. So I'm going to have a segment every week, and it's going to be, parenting through COVID-19 and what does that look like. No, parenting hasn't really changed for us, but it's a lot harder. Parenting is a lot harder in COVID-19. You've gone from seeing your kids maybe 2-3 hours a day to all day in a house. If you are a stay-at-home parent, you've gone from being able to go out to the park or McDonald's or the library to now everyone's cooped up in a house and there's no escaping it. So every stage that you are at as a parent, whether it's a baby, whether it's your kids, preteen, teenagers, even those parents whose college kids have come home and now their school year has ended and they're devastated and they are now adult kids back in your home, and I know that that's not even going smoothly for all parents. So there's no stage right now in parenthood that is easier than the other. Each stage has its craziness. Each stage is having its difficulty right now. So I think us as parents just need to look at other parents first off and remember every stage is the worst. And I don't mean that like parenting is the best, but there's not one stage necessarily that is worse than the other. I have a 2-year-old right now, a 2-year-old boy, and he's going crazy. He wants to go to the park so bad. Every time we drive past a park, he starts crying, and it's been so hard. I have been working with some of the parents with teenagers, and there's been a lot more fights. There's been a lot more frustrations. Some of the seniors, what they've been going through with, their school year's done, their graduation, college kids, their freshman year, sophomore year, done. So every parent is going through challenges right now. So I decided, what should I talk about this week? What is something that everyone needs to hear? And I have a philosophy, I guess you could say, that whenever I teach, preach, speak to others, I always make sure that it's something that I need to hear and that I need to learn. So in case no one watches at all and no one gets it, at least I've benefited from it and I learned something. So patience. That is what I chose to talk about this week. I know that's something that I feel like I need, and I've been hearing a lot of parents needing. And if you're a parent right now who's thinking, you know what, I'm doing pretty good with this patience thing. I'm keeping it cool. We're getting through it one day at a time. I haven't exploded yet. I think I'm doing good. I would say congratulations for lying to yourself, because I do not believe that there is any parent right now who could not use some extra patience. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And so we understand that every parent needs it. Every stage of parenting needs it. And I also understand that right now is very difficult. You can't get away from your kids. You can't get away from your spouse. You can't get away. And I feel like sometimes recently we've been kind of giving ourselves an out because times are tough. This is a tough situation, so cut yourself some slack. And please don't get me wrong. I do think parents need to cut themselves some slack in areas right now. I'm not talking about nutrition. I let my son eat nachos and cheese for breakfast yesterday. Okay? So, I mean, I'm not saying, like, don't cut yourself some slack. I'm not saying that was a good thing. But I'm just saying you can cut your slack somewhere. Don't be the parent who's trying to do zero screen time because, cut yourself some slack. But what I'm saying is there's some things in these next 4 weeks, next 5 weeks that we cannot cut ourselves slack on. And patience is that one. We read in the Bible during our love chapter, and that's 1 Corinthians 13:44-8. And it's love, all about love. All about what love looks like, how you give it. And I found it very interesting. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy, does not boast. It's not proud. It does not dishonor others. It keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. But did you catch what the very first attribute of love is? Love is patience. So I'm taking this as, if you can't be patient, if you can't start love with patience right off the bat, how is your child going to feel all the other love? How are they going to feel all that peace? How are they going to feel the gentleness? How are they going to feel the love if you can't even put the foundation of patience? So one thing I wanted to challenge to us parents, and this has been a challenge to me too, is I think as parents we view being impatient as angry. I think we view being impatient as like flying off the handle, or going off on our kids with something little that they do, or when they've done something for the third time, going off. And what we need to understand as parents is that is not exactly what being impatient is. Impatience can come across to your children in lots of different ways. And I think some of us are showing our children impatience when we don't even mean to. So I've been thinking about it, and there's some things that I personally think is showing our children impatience when we're doing things like just walking away. No, you're not yelling at them. No, you're not, getting in an argument, but you're just like, I'm done, I'm walking away. Interrupting. Interrupting a child when they're trying to speak, when they're trying to explain to you, when they're telling you a story, and just interrupting them, not letting them speak, not letting them finish their thoughts out. Kind of going on with the same thing is shutting a child down. When a child is trying to stick up for themselves or tell you something or explain something, and instead of listening to them out, instead of having a conversation, done, we're done, nope, no more, not, and shutting the child down. Stepping in and taking over, that's actually impatience too. I have a 2-year-old, I have a 5-year-old, and they seem like the slowest children in the world sometimes when it comes to getting on shoes or cleaning up or brushing their teeth. And just the action of just stepping in and doing it for them. It doesn't always comes across as a helpful parent. Lots of times it can come across as, I'm not doing it right, I'm not doing it quick enough, mom has to do it for me, and sometimes it comes across as being frustrated as well. The last thing that I think that we could be doing that shows impatience is just checking out. Those of you, especially with preteen, teenagers, college kids, they get on a roll and they're going to talk to you, and it might be a subject that you care nothing about, but your teen or your preteen will see it in your eyes when you've checked out. Yes, you're there. Maybe you're shaking your head. Yes, you're sitting in the table with them, but they know you're not there. They know you've checked out. They know you can't wait till this conversation is over. So I think us as parents, somewhere down the road in the last few weeks, we have done 1, 2, 3, all of these every day, once a week, something. And I think it's something that we don't quite understand how it can affect our children, especially if this is going to be their life in the next 4 weeks. One thing that this can do against your kids is giving your kids that feeling of you're never satisfied with how they do things, with the speed that they're doing things, with the conversations they have. You're never satisfied in what and how they are performing. They get the feeling that they think they're wasting your time. When you're just checking out or you step in and do something for them, they can get that feeling of, I'm just wasting mom and dad's time. They can get that feeling of, I can never do something correctly, especially for the parent who keeps stepping in and doing things for them, or for the parent who cuts the kid off and does not let the kid finish or explain or try to even correct. For the older kids especially, all this impatience can affect the relationship, where they can start feeling, I do not have a good relationship with my parents. When I try to sit down and talk to them, when I try to do this, when I try to do that, that's just how they react. And that's not how healthy relationships are supposed to be. So obviously I don't have a good relationship with my mom or dad. It's going to result in being less motivated. It's going to result in less trust. And it will, in the long run, affect your relationship with your children and with your spouse. So, being impatient not only is going to affect your children, as we just said, but it's also going to affect you. It will hurt you. It will make you feel. It will take away the ability of enjoying the present. It will impair your vision. And when I mean impair your vision, I mean when you're frustrated, when you're feeling impatient, it's like you can't see what's really going on, and you let a lot of the truth kind of be fuzzy, and it's just you see what you see, you think what you know what you see, and the rest is irrelevant. And obviously it transfers a lot of a negative emotion on you. So, as we can see, impatience can be very detriment to you, to your relationship with your children, and to your life in the next few weeks or months. So, how do you think we can, work on this, better ourselves? I think there's a few things we can do. Number one, be patient with yourself. If you can't be patient with yourself when you mess up, when you don't finish a to-do list, when you are running behind, when you break something, if you can't even be patient with yourself, there's no way that you're going to be able to be patient with that 3-year-old or that 16-year-old. Number two, you need to take note this week on what is triggering your impatientness. Different people have different triggers. What seems to be triggering you? What have you noticed that whenever this happens, I just have not been able to cope correctly, and I've jumped to being impatient so quickly? Write those down, figure those out, so that in the next few weeks you can try to correct those and watch out for those. Number 3, stop and swap. And what I mean by stop and swap is stop, and swap glasses. Okay? Take off your vision glasses, put on your child's, put on your spouse's. Do your best to stop and try to think, what is this person saying? What is this person thinking? What is this person feeling? Because a lot of times with impatientness, it's just us seeing the things that we see, feeling the stuff we see, jumping to conclusions, jumping to reactions, and not stopping and thinking, what is the child feeling? What is she thinking? What is she needing? Number 4, listen. A lot of impatient people struggle with just zipping it and listening, especially for our preteens and our teenagers and our college students. Right now, majority of what they really need is just to listen, and a lot of that is complaining. A lot of that could be tears, but just listening, not trying to fix, not trying to correct, not glazing over, but just listening and being present in the moment. Number 6, don't run away. Be the responsible adult and talk it out. Be patient, finish the situation. After the situation done, then yes, go to your room, go to the bathroom, go find the chocolate, go turn on the TV, whatever you need to do. But don't walk away from the kid during that time. Be the responsible adult, handle it responsibly, handle it with patience, and be the example that your kid needs to see of how to handle a situation that could be frustrating. Handle it with patience. Number 7, take care of yourself. I know I have figured out my triggers, and my triggers are definitely when I'm dehydrated, I'm hungry, I'm not getting enough sleep. When I am hungry, I get hangry. When I am dehydrated, I get headaches. And then every little thing is so hard to be patient with because I don't feel good. So during COVID-19, we don't have an excuse to not have time to eat, not have time to drink enough water, not have time to sleep. We have those times right now, and we can be taking care of ourselves. And during this time where it's going to be high stress and close quarters, make sure you're taking those things very seriously so that your body, your mind is feeling 100%, so that you can take on these things 100%. So those are a few tips that I feel like could help. They've helped me, and hopefully can help you with patience this week and in the next few weeks. Who knows what's going to happen? But I know that if we don't start to really try to do some of these things on purpose, it's going to be a pretty rough week for our pretty rough weeks ahead for our family. So let's do our best to be the parents that we need to be for our kids during COVID-19. Thanks, guys.